Pocket Con.
All right. What's up, everybody? I'm your host. My name is Mike Stidham, and this is PocketCon's 2021's answer party. I do have my applause. This is the same setup I use for the show. Oh no, there's a lot of videos here. Here's the applause. Again, I am your host, Mike Stidham of the illustrious and infamous BlurdDotRadio.
Mike Stidham.
I like that picture because it shows that I really have been frowning since I was a child. That was my birthday party.
Wait,
I don't know what I was mad about.
It's your party, and you can frown if you want to.
I guess so. I had cake in front of me and everything. I was just like, yeah. So kids, if you're out there and you're angry, you're not the only one.
Yo.
Normalize having feelings.
There you go.
Negative
Also, if you're
or
wondering,
otherwise.
folks, I'm using my girlfriend's computer. She has a real tap-sensitive computer. I almost played some rap music that was not.
I was like, I was in Gather Town walking around like, did I press something?
Yeah.
He's like, no, we weren't supposed to play that.
I was about to get bad as soon as the first words were said. So, folks, we got some fine guests here today, and one who's on the way. I wrote out some intros. Our first guest is an educator and comic book aficionado. He is the social media face of Hyde Park's favorite comic depot, First Aid Comics. He contributes to the Nerd Strangers podcast and appears weekly as a crew member on BlurdDotRadio. His name is Kenny Taylor, the sassy black nerd. I'm going to play his intro card. I'm going to give you all that. Also, that thing about Mortal Kombat Annihilation, 100% true.
It's true. Also, you need to update the card. I just got done watching 1,000 episodes of One Piece in a year. My 3 needs to go up to 5, maybe a 6 on the anime.
For sure. Even if you just watch that one show, that's like 10 animes worth of shows.
Basically.
For sure.
And I still managed to watch other anime with it. And Southside, which I finally caught up, but I'm catching up on.
Oh, I need to start watching Southside.
I do need to get back on
Bro.
that.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Rhyme Fest. I saw that he plays a pirate.
He plays a pirate at What's Haunted Trails over on the south side. So I'm looking forward to seeing that episode because that show had me just literally in tears crying because
nice.
As a Chicagoan, it is to a T a Chicago show. It's like man, even the language is great.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Lisa Beasley. She was she played somebody that worked at Harold's Chicken and wouldn't give one of the main characters hot sauce. Hilarious.
Nice.
What show is this?
It's called Southside.
Oh, I thought y'all was talking about The Shy.
Oh,
no. I'm talking about comedy, the good stuff. Nothing too serious.
Yeah. Also, shout out to I can't remember his name. I have a friend who was a waiter on The Shy. That's what he was known for. He was a waiter on The Shy, and he was on the billboard that apparently he got paid a whole lot for. I'll remember his name. Yeah. He's a good guy. Our next guest, former heavy metal singer, runs a comic book review YouTube page that has amassed 63,000 subscribers.
Oh, shit.
He appears live with his co-host, Carter Presents on YouTube's The Blerd Cave every Saturday from 12 p.m. until question marks. And that's how you know it's a good party. This man believes truly and deeply and fearlessly in comics for all. His name is Ernie, Blerd Without Fear. Here's his name. That's him. don't know how long to give people to read.
I'm not gonna lie, like this card and the previous one for Kenny, I just was vibing to the music the whole time.
I definitely skim. I definitely skim through.
Same.
I was just feeling like I was getting like you almost got the dun, 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 dun. I was right there with it. I was like, dun, 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 dun.
The music
That's
helps
when
me
I
move
started
through it.
thinking, like, I was like, is this too long? I don't want to hold up the action.
I'm here for it. Though.
I appreciate it. Up next, an email is all that it took to elevate his crew from the trap to Charlemagne the God's Black Effect Network, where his show sits beside great black podcasters like Drink Champs and $1 Million Worth of Game. With his crew, the Trap Nerd Podcast, he can be heard on Black Effect, iHeartMusic, Apple Podcasts, Audible, Spotify, Anchor, Radio Public, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote ALLUM, all of them. Introducing new to PocketCon 2021, the PocketCon 2021 Answer Party event. We got Snax.
Yo, that's dope. I didn't know we
Finish that. Again, it's a light touch with this. I was just trying to get them out of
I said I didn't know we was on Audible, but go ahead. I want to see this.
Right.
Is that the Batman theme song?
Of course, it's the Batman.
You are. Freaking love you, man. Freaking love you, man.
Snax is a big Batman fan. That's why I use that for sure. Also, I used X-Men for Ernie because not only is he a big X-Men fan, but that's where his channel, Blurred Without Fear, is where I learned everything about X-Men. Because I haven't picked up a physical comic book in years.
Oh man,
So I'm
It's
here
been a
for it,
while.
man.
We appreciate you. So, as the name suggests, I got some questions. These folks got some answers. We will start off with, as soon as I can figure out where my questions are on the screen. There it is. All right. First and foremost, and I figure this is one that might generate some conversation. The stupid light touch on this computer. I appreciate my girlfriend for letting me use this, but my God. First and foremost, I figure we are all familiar with this character, and we all had some thoughts on him and his sordid past. If you all could give me some thoughts on this guy. For anybody that doesn't know, that is Professor Xavier of the X-Men.
what was that? That was him.
Yeah,
that's
That's how he looks now.
That's how he looks now.
Mhm.
With the helmet that Forge made, so that he can store all of the basically souls.
It's basically
it's like their
cerebral on
essence.
his head.
Yeah, it's like
He walks around with it all the time.
he's always like basically he's always taking a mental backup
Yeah,
of every mutant.
of every mutant on the planet.
As a representative of the tribe of people named Xavier, I don't agree with this at all.
No. No, like the helmet. I thought he can walk around. He's got a helmet. Like
It looks, they could have made that better. It looks dorky.
He's
Like what the
stylish.
heck? What the
You know,
hell?
I'm not going for it. I like it. I think.
Yeah, I'm into it.
I think
Yeah.
I mean, it's
He's
better than
actually
just his
getting-
face.
He's not even
It's
the way to
kind of
make
how
an
he's
X-Men
looked for
right
a
now,
while
currently.
now too. It's not
He
even like
looks
a new
for sure.
design.
He looks like one of them Fairly Odd Parent superheroes. Like
I
the
always
chin-
thought he looked way too normal, just rocking his suit,
The Crimson
his little,
X.
his little wheelchair. He's like, you know, make him actually, make
Wait,
him actually
I
look
the
like an
look.
X-Man.
Well, no,
For sure.
well, okay, I agree with that. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, okay, because it was kind of getting a little, but they could have did better with that. Come on, he got a TV on his head.
It's a very high functioning piece of equipment.
Yeah, I mean, it is Cerebro.
It's Cerebro, yeah.
I mean, Cerebro always looks silly on his head. And I think people don't
It
think
definitely
about it
does.
because you don't
He
see him
usually takes
wear
it
it
off.
very often.
Yeah.
But he doesn't take it off anymore because he's like literally there's so many mutants. He has to have it on at all times. Like when you see him, he is always like, even when he's on the toilet, he's having to like.
Do they show him?
I gotta back up
thing?
Thunderbird and shit. Oh god. Oh fuck, that was Mystique. Shit.
Has he made that mistake yet? Put the wrong person through the resurrection protocol and been like, "Oh, you were supposed to be told."
No, the protocol is that while he has say over it, he's not in charge of it per se. Like he's in charge of it, like word wise, but he doesn't do the thing. He just has to back up. It's actually up to like the 5 mutants who I just call them the 5 kids from like all
different corners of X-Men.
Yeah. Good for Gold Balls.
Gold
like,
Balls.
He
He's
has
out there.
laser power, and he finally got some shine. He's like, he's actually useful.
But
that was Grant Morrison, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Is that Grant Morrison that made him?
Yes.
Oh god! With a name like Gold Balls, I'm not surprised.
But you know what? He didn't get any, but he wasn't fun to use until Jason Aaron wrote him in that Wolverine and the X-Men comic. I think that's kind of when we saw more of him in the Bendis stuff when he was with Cyclops. That separation. But Xavier's been weird, or not weird lately, but he's a character that's since Hickman started writing him has gone a definite transformation, and I feel like it's maybe a little bit close, akin to his classic kind of run where there are multiple things he knows but he's not telling, but also he's bad at keeping up with things that are kind of happening right in front of him. I'm Ernie, you're probably reading all of them X-Men stories. I'm trying to. I mean, when you work at a store, you got to read them all. It's you gotta pick and choose.
Yeah,
but keeping up with Professor Xavier, it's fascinating how Hickman's been able to write him and Magneto as these equals now, which I've always thought they've been. I'm glad they've kind of finished that whole brotherhood stuff, because at this point you can't. It's tired. It's a tired story to me. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
Didn't because my knowledge of X-Men comics is kind of low. So didn't Professor Xavier get pissed off and like he was like, "Fuck it, I'm teaming up with Magneto." Like,
they basically so House of X powers 10.
House of X.
So if you start, that's kind of your starting point for that relationship, because actually it's not just those two. There's a third character, and Ernie, I don't know if I'd be spoiling it if I'd say who that third character is, because she has a lot. Actually, I don't think so, because we don't know.
No, I don't think it'd be a spoiler. I think it'd be a spoiler to say what, like the reveal of like there's a reveal with her, but to say that she's involved isn't much of a spoiler.
No, it's not. Not at this point, it's not. But I think there's a spoiler to where she ends up, where we don't know just yet. Especially
there's
Inferno,
a lot.
which Inferno looks to be really dope, and I'm really excited for how that's going.
Inferno's really good. Xavier is in a very different place.
Yes, very different.
It is kind of a mixture of the different iterations of Xavier we've seen. Like there's Xavier who, he's kind of a nice guy. Then there's Xavier who's like, this dude's an asshole. And then there's Xavier, this guy might be slick perving on Jean. He was a whole teenager. Then there's the Chucky X that's constantly withholding. Which that's actually a lot of what House of X is about, is the withholding of information from other mutants, like about what's really going on. And there is a lot of, we used to not be be friends, but we're not enemies anymore type deal going on with a lot of different characters. But that's one of those things. I think you're usually going to come from two different places when it comes to Charles Xavier, depending on like where you know him from. If you know Charles Xavier just from the X-Men movies, you'll probably think he's the sweetest, nicest guy on earth.
Which is not true. Which is
not true.
Captain Picard.
See, I know enough.
Like,
I know enough.
You know what? It's so weird looking back at those X-Men movies. It's just Captain Picard in a chair. Like,
that's it.
It's not. Patrick Stewart is an amazing actor. but Professor Xavier is basically not there. Like it's I feel like he watched he watched this like X-Men cartoon. It's like, okay,
sit in the chair, right?
Xavier's an asshole. He's an asshole.
Like,
he's not a nice guy.
There are layers to him. There are absolutely layers to him. And Magneto, which is why they get along so well now. But even with you see that while they withhold information, they also have this amazing power over Krakoa as well. I mean, one of my favorite scenes out of this entire run of X-Men is when they buried Sabretooth.
Mm-hmm. Oh, literally, yeah, it didn't look friendly.
Buried Sabretooth.
It was not friendly.
It's funny because I'm reading The Mist, and it was kind of like the first guy that didn't make it. The
guy who walked out there was like, "Oh no, wait a minute!"
He was like, "Wait, what? Hold up!" Like, it's buried this man alive.
Oh, dude, Xavier's that guy though.
Yes.
But I also think that when you have Charles Xavier, when he is, and a lot of people don't know this, when you start House of X, well, yes, it is Charles Xavier. That's actually not his body. Mm-hmm. That's Phantom X's body that he's in. He goes back in his body after. That's why, like, when you look at like House of X, you're like, damn, dude, Chucky is ripped. What is going on? And it's like, okay, yeah, that's from Astonishing X-Men. But out
here body snatching.
Oh, dude, look, Charles. He doesn't ask permission. He's a whole Weinstein out here.
Wow,
guys, he's problematic. He's got some stuff going on. But yeah, I'm one of those people. I'm not one of those guys that's gonna be like, oh man, dude, Charles is awesome. No, I'm be like, nah, dude, that dude can go to hell.
He's flawed.
He is that man is, and especially recently because they just delved into his relationship with his son.
Yes, which I'm behind. I want to read those. Is that happening?
Read it.
Is that still in Way of X? Is that happening?
Yes, it's they went to I think it went 5 issues and then they did a one shot after.
Yeah, I read the first 3. I need to finish it, but Way of X.
Read it.
Yeah, powerful.
You get to see that whole thing comes to a head, where it's like, oh, okay. You're that kind of dad. Okay.
Yeah, right. Because Way of X-Men had me thinking they were really going to try to touch on this religious aspect of being a mutant, but then they go in this father-son direction and it's like, we're actually exploring that relationship, which is I think is great. I think
it's awesome.
It's
If you had to compare the relationship to a TV dad and his TV son, which one would it be? Would it be Will Smith and his dad from Fresh Prince? Is it a why don't he want me man situation?
Well, it's not, I mean, he know why he don't want him. He got too many personalities. That's part of the problem. Like it would be if Will Smith basically in like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was like literally 8 people in one body.
Yeah.
Like he hooping, but also he's fixing his car, and then also he's trying to buy the Jordans, and then he's trying to mess with Carlton and Uncle Phil.
And Malcolm Jamal Warner just hit his car. His license plate used to say cold chillin', and now it says old chili.
Old chili.
I forgot about that.
That's a great episode.
One of my favorite moments in that.
It's a great episode. Yo, oh my gosh. Hillary was dating Michael Jamal Warner's character. Great stuff. Good episode.
Love it.
Good time.
But I think Xavier, I'm hoping once House of X Powers of 10 and then this X-Men, I hope we get a wrap in terms of like just kind of coming back to Snax's question about Xavier in general, is there's a lot we still don't really know because there's a whole gap. There's a whole, like, I think we saw 9 of the 10 scenarios, so we don't know exactly what's going to happen with what we're reading right now, which is basically the Xavier story we're reading as it goes on. So, I feel like because also too, Trial of Magneto is really important, where they explore the father-daughter relationship with Magneto and Scarlet Witch, and also the Scarlet Witch being, she's not like kind of how she's kind of trying to juggle between being a, like chaos magic, but also is she a mutant? So like just Magneto and Xavier are basically connected like at the hip now. Like they're literally, like I feel like, especially if you're reading all of the X-Men books, they're together.
They're almost always together.
Yeah,
Onslaught is in there somewhere, isn't he? They're physically, they got a baby.
Onslaught's still around. Yep.
Yeah, it's and Onslaught, and that's the other thing too. Onslaught's still in the background, so there are a lot of things that Xavier, I mean, if people don't know, Onslaught is basically Xavier's what? Id?
It's like his id.
His id. So like that dangerous part of Xavier is still just, you know, in people's nightmares right now, literally. So there's a lot going on with Xavier, and I absolutely think people should get into X-Men like any way you can.
Yes.
Like, this stuff is great.
Snax, you had a hot take.
I don't like how they setting up Scarlet Witch story, like her family, like her backstory. I didn't really like it that much. I wish they could have integrated. I wish they could have really like put like the X-Men, some X-Men inspiration in it. You know what I mean?
In the show,
they really. Are you talking about WandaVision?
Yeah, in WandaVision.
They really can't because they're not.
I know they can't, but like I wish.
Well, no, it's not even like it's not even a legality thing. Like, she's not his daughter.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Really? See, that's
that's kind of what's being explored in the comic itself too. Is like, she's not his daughter, but Magneto and her and Quicksilver still have this familial bond.
Yeah.
So that's kind of being explored now. And actually, even that, not the Dark Void book, but did you read the other one, Blerd, Ernie, where the power's out all over the earth, and basically it's like Black Panther has a kingdom in America.
Is it talking about the Dark Ages one?
Dark Ages, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so you still see this, like, where, you know, Quicksilver sees his dad being like held hostage and used to power France. So like, even though they aren't like blood, they're still bonded by the fact that like they've been together forever.
Right.
But I feel like they're trying to kind of clean that up, because that's kind of what Trial of Magneto is, because like her kids at some point weren't really even her kids, which is a problem thing in Marvel Universe, and heroes having children. They always have this stupid backdoor that they try to utilize, and it always is terrible. Like, Ernie's laughing because of how Bird's been in the past.
No, I know. You know,
DC does it a lot. So like, I think the great thing about WandaVision is that like I understand what you mean, that they should, but I think getting rid of that actually makes the story a little bit easier.
It makes it tighter.
Yeah, because honestly,
it's an Occam's razor situation.
Yeah, if you start trying to really connect dots with Wanda and her family, we gonna be here a while.
Oh yeah, no, you have to. It's for me. It's I always say go with Occam's razor. The solution that has the least amount of moving parts is typically going to be the one that is going to be the most likely to happen, but probably also is going to be the one that's going to work out the best.
Yeah.
If they tried to tie that stuff in, it would have been a.
Yeah, I know. Cinematically,
it would have been a hot mess.
I mean, and also too, the route they took, like, and also too, they did a really smart pivot too, because she is chaos magic, and you have Doctor Strange in the like proper in the movies. That's the easier pivot to kind of go to with Wanda and magic, and then I just forgot her name, the other witch that was in WandaVision, but like the fact
Agatha Harkness.
Like the fact that that she's getting a show, which may mean you may get Clea, you may get all these other dope. Like actual like sorcerers in the Marvel Universe, which I'm a huge fan of. We get Brother Voodoo, bring him.
Yeah, which there was a rumor. There's a rumor that he's in or that he might be in the second one, because
I heard
his brother is in the first one.
Yeah, and I really want that to be true. I mean, because that's the thing. Like, if you pivot away from like Wanda and like Magneto, you actually get into like characters who look like us. So I'm kind of okay with them not going with like the.
I'm not mad.
I'm not mad at all.
Well, we got a whole we got a whole echo out here,
dude.
Wait, before you get into that, we have another guest coming.
Ooh, let's go.
A little late to the party. I wrote this down. A little late to the party. This next guest needs no introduction. I'm just going to read from the client list in the About section on her website. Marvel, DC, IDW, Dark Horse, Image Comics, Boom Studios, HBO, Stranger Comics, Black Mass Studios, Skybound Entertainment, Vault Comics, Scholastic, the people that had the book fairs, Mainframe Studios, Wow Unlimited Media, Netflix. I'm just going to play her intro from this point. Ashley A. Williams.
What's up, Ashley?
Thank you for coming. Snax and Ernie were geeking out about you before the show started. Just to let you know.
Thank you.
There it is.
He got the hardcover.
Oh yeah, it's shiny too. You can tell.
The light kind of jacked me up there for a second. I almost blinded myself. I apologize, anyone who can no longer see. I just had to throw it out there. It is an amazing comic.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You as my granny say, you put your foot in it.
Onions and everything.
Everything with the bad toe.
Yeah, I'm sorry for coming late. I was doing the draw on demand with Elgin and Natalia. Well, both Natalias.
Shout out to the Natalias.
Yeah, I was watching you. Great job with your Angry Bird.
Oh, yeah, you peeped that.
Yeah, I did.
So we just wrapped up a conversation that started about Professor Xavier. The next question I got, and this is I believe the word is pertinent. It's a current event. I want to get you all's take on it.
I'll let somebody go first because I think I've been on BlurdDotRadio for the longest.
Oh yeah, Kenny goes on about how much he hates the new Spider-Man movies.
I didn't say I hate it. It's not a matter of hate.
It's vitriol. What's up, Geekster the Super Nerd? In the chat. If you haven't heard Geekster the Super Nerd's music, go check it out. He just released an album called Final Fight, based on Final Fight, one of the greatest beat 'em up games of all time. Who's the sixth in the Sinister Six? Ernie, what do you think about this?
I think that everyone made a better movie in their heads than anything.
Sure. Hence the meme. It's gonna be
right. I think the movie. I don't like, and I'm not saying the movie is gonna be bad. Actually, I'm really excited to see it. I can't wait. I'm taking my daughter to go see it when it comes out because she is over the moon about Spider-Man. But I feel like,
come on, Ernie, come on.
There's a lot of there's it's gonna happen. I can already see Twitter right now. I can visualize it in my mind. There's gonna be people like, man, No Way Home was kind of mid. That's gonna be the average. And I'm not saying it's gonna be just. I think it's gonna be great. But I just think a lot of people, they're going to go into it. They're going to be like, used to show that picture. There's an even bigger picture where people saw it was like Godzilla and King Kong.
Right? I saw Gwen Stacy in a Gwen Stacy costume. I'm like, hold up.
Yeah, Indiana Jones shows up. It's like, oh my God, everybody.
Going to be the Expendables, the superhero movie.
Yeah, right.
Right. Like, oh, dude.
Chuck Norris is just going to come out, shoot a rocket.
Like, in a Spider-Man costume. I'm from the Chuck Norris universe where Spider-Man's Chuck Norris is everybody.
I don't know.
Spencer for Hire.
I don't know. I've said my negatives about it, but I have high hopes for the movie. Like for Disney and Marvel, we got to give them their props. Like they've been doing a lot of good stuff in the universe, and I mean, I know this next phase that they're going through now is kind of, having some slow starts with some of the movies and stuff. But I feel like they've done enough to prove to us that like they can do this Spider-Man movie justice. I mean, I have faith in them. That's where I'm coming from.
For sure.
I think Tom Holland is a really good Spider-Man. I don't think Andrew Garfield was a bad Spider-Man, but he was a little too cool. He had the hair.
He was skateboarding.
He had a little bit too much swag. So
wasn't dorky enough.
No.
Yeah, Tom and Toby. Toby's just funny because he got those buggy eyes. And he makes that Cal Rittenhouse face when he cries
Oh my God! I'm never gonna unsee this now. I'm never gonna unsee this now.
Next time I watch Spider-Man, I'm
I cannot unsee that now, Ashley Woods. Cannot unsee that now.
It's like Cal Rittenhouse and Tobey Maguire. It's like when you're growing up and you have that one playmate who cries when they say, "Oh, I can't breathe," or you're playing with them and they want you to stop.
Hyperventilating.
For sure.
Yeah, hyperventilating.
For sure.
They get vein in the forehead and they're like,
Start standing like
gosh.
this, just holding the ball or standing in front of the TV so you can't play Street Fighter anymore. Why won't y'all let me play? It's like,
because we're tired of seeing your face do that thing.
Go outside.
Like you're playing it and they get caught right away and they're mad that they got caught.
Right?
You're not very fast. Why can't we play something else? I had a friend like that in college. Whenever we would play something like on PlayStation that he didn't want to play, like, man, why can't we play 007 or Smash Brothers? It's like, you are nearly 40.
Yeah.
Why are you pouting right now?
Man, you better pick up the King of the Fight.
You didn't learn how to play anything else, so you're mad that you can't play other games.
Look. See, I'm an asshole. I like they pause the game and act like they don't want to play no more. I'd be like, look, man, just go ahead. Look, we just go ahead and finish this one game out.
Mm-hmm.
Put the controller in his hand, unpause that shit, and just start beating his ass. now we can play something else.
Like you're gonna get these hands, brother.
Yeah,
like, you're not,
mess up
you're
my
just trying to
record.
escape this butt whooping, okay? That's all it is.
So, folks, we have a question from our good friend Geekster the Super Nerd. Do you think that Stan Lee's death proved to be detrimental to Marvel?
I would like him to be a little more specific because I don't like. I think to the movie product, to the comic product. Because I
do miss seeing him in movies for no reason.
Because then he kind of stepped back from a lot of the stuff that they were doing. Like, he's just kind of like a face.
The last thing he created in Marvel was She-Hulk.
Yeah.
If that tells you anything.
But this is the last one of the other things they was Stripperella.
Well, yeah, no, Stripperella is another story. We don't.
Let's not forget.
But honestly,
like TV for men, like the NFL doesn't come on.
I don't think Stan.
A network that cannot exist today.
It shouldn't have existed back then. It was a weird idea.
But I don't think his death is detrimental to Marvel. I think that this is. I mean, Marvel is part of a very serious Disney. Like Disney is like corporate to the max, and they're going to squeeze every piece of juice out of you. I don't think. I guess I'm thinking about it from a working at a comic book store as from that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like Stan was out of the company. Like he's basically just like in spirit Marvel day to day. Like he goes to cons, signs some autographs. That's it. But like the editors, the Joe Quesadas, those folks, I don't really think they leaned on him or asked him any questions or anything like that. Like I think that people have to understand that Marvel is a business. Like it's still a business. And they treat comics and movies like it's a business. I mean, I used to complain when I'm sure everybody remembers this run of like Deadpool just saturating the market and everything had Deadpool in it. That's a business move. Like that's not an editorial move. It's like the one character that is just kind of popular, you throw them everywhere. Same thing with Wolverine. Same thing that can happen with Spider-Man. I think that if comic book companies decided to really like pull back the curtain and really take an honest look at what they're doing, maybe they do better to not have as many they're like, best example, there are like 10 or 12 Batman books. That's a bit too many Batman books. And while they're all telling different stories, and maybe they'll have it from Batman or so, it's still a Batman book. Now, the difference between that and X-Men is that X-Men, while we talk about Xavier, he's not populated in every X-Men issue at all. Like they're all about different X-Men characters, stories, nothing that has to do with the overall one person, whereas Batman is just one person. And that kind of happened with Wolverine for a time as well. So I think that to answer Geekster's question, at least from the comic book side, I think I like to hear the folks kind of opinions on the movie side. At least for the comic books, it's straight up business. I wish that they would kind of dial it back, give Black folks writing. Like honestly, I'm just gonna put this in you. I want Ashley Woods and Eve Ewing writing Spider-Man or writing a white superhero or writing Captain America. You know what I'm saying? Like it's. I think Marvel needs to go in a different direction if they really want to see what the future entails for them and what the readers want.
I mean, that's one thing that I love DC. I love about DC because they did this before it was popular for companies to do this, which was take a Black-owned business and bring it to them and amplify their characters, which they did that with Milestone Media.
And Milestone is doing there's a new.
They're doing it again now.
Yes, I'm loving it.
Ernie reads them like 5 months before anybody hears the announcement.
I don't know about all that.
I was just reading Static Shock.
And those Milestone comics have been fire. Everyone.
Oh yeah, and I love them.
Right now
I love them.
Great.
Reggie, Vita, Nicholas Draper Ivy, like across all these different books, everybody's they're killing it. Yeah, and I would like to see that spread out to kind of like we had with Ta-Nehisi Coates on Captain America. That shouldn't be like abnormal. It should be
exactly.
It should be normal.
It should be normal.
I should see. Like we had Christopher Priest on Deathstroke. That shouldn't be abnormal. Like, Black creatives should be allowed to work. Well, yes, have them do the Black Panthers, the John Stewarts, the Nubias, the Riri Williams, your War Machine, so on and so forth.
But don't limit them to that.
Yeah,
right.
Like,
don't limit them
give them the A+ boys though. Like, here's the thing. There's a difference between those characters you said and then me putting Spider-Man like top billing everywhere. Like, I think that's what I and this kind of speaks to the Geekster's question. That's where I think Marvel and most companies are kind of like while Milestone and DC that's a good start. It's 2021. You know what I'm saying? Like,
why are we just getting there?
Milestone's been with DC for a while.
Well, they've been with DC for a while, but they've also been disappeared for a while.
Yeah, they've been going for a long time.
But that had a lot to do with
especially when McDuffie died.
No one was buying those comics either. Not the way that they should have been. People
they was bootlegging them. That's a joke.
Well, it wasn't even that. People just wholesale. One of the common criticisms Milestone caught was that it was only comics for Black people.
Yeah,
they're like, those are only comics for Black people. Well, people used to complain there weren't enough white characters in those comics, and which is sad because there actually were a lot of white characters.
Yeah,
they just were treated. They were not central characters.
The reason why we don't have more Blacks in prominent roles in the industry is because we're mascots right now. We're just being used to show that these companies aren't racist.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which that is sad. That is absolutely
for sure.
Like it shouldn't be that way.
I think it's weird. I think it's up to the Black audience to be more specific with what they want in content because Black people are so used to being, the black sheep in society, the world society. There is a certain desperation. If I'm to be honest, there's a certain desperation with the Black collective. That as long as they see themselves in anything, they're happy. What I advocate for is more original Black characters. I don't want a Riri, I don't want a Black version of Iron Man because if you really want to stand alone on your own power, you don't want to have the ghost of a white man, the ghost of a white character. Respectfully, because I love Iron Man. I don't have any issues with non-Black characters. But speaking in the context of representation, I know back in 2015 2016 there was a lot of talk about appropriation. Blacks need to be more specific about how they want to be seen instead of just accepting any character being blackwashed.
For sure.
Like we have the anime boom. It's good to see a lot of independent artists take the anime style and do their own thing with it. But before we had a lot of black Naruto, a lot of black Bleach, and so forth.
Yeah. I remember when we was
not
doing
any actual original
Bugs
stories.
Bunny t-shirts and Black Bart Simpsons.
Right.
No,
it reminds me of Looney Tunes back in the 90s. How you see like Bugs Bunny like wearing like cross colors and like it's appropriation of the highest order.
Earrings,
It's real. It's real.
I guess
sad.
to Ashley's point, we were the ones making it. Like we got to get away from this just seeing ourselves as what exists, because a black Batman isn't really gonna do it. A black superhero in Gotham could exist without being Batman.
That's one thing that actually annoys me. Like when they try and change these big, like Superman, Batman, change their races, and it's so much potential.
It's like, this isn't who asked for this.
Yeah, it's so much potential in this universe.
Can we
you want to do this? Like
a black Dr. Octopus? Can we do that next? Like we can call them Squid.
Yeah.
Like that's
that's the thing. We gotta. I think the more we get black creatives, the more we can get of them, in the industry. Because it's actually really sad. It's still, even in 2021, moving into 2022, like there's not a lot of black people in the comics industry compared to how many of everybody else there is.
For sure.
Like there's still those barriers that are up that just, it's not like basically what you have to do is you have to start your own thing from scratch. And sad as it is to say, a lot of times people are they're less likely to want to adopt a new character, a new concept, unless you just happen to catch that lightning in a bottle. But I think people need to take more chances.
But also
on those
Ernie,
new characters.
To that point, I would say the other problem too is that the companies have to invest in that character.
Right. No, exactly.
To put I think Mosaic is one of the last characters that Marvel tried to proper bring into there, but they didn't do a good job of really investing in the character. Like if you really want to see a character, best example is the Joker's new girl. I always forget her name.
Oh, Punchline. Yeah.
Punchline. They put Punchline in everything to make sure that you knew before she got her little thing that Punchline is it.
I knew about her a year before I think we even actually got the first comic. But that and I agree, that should be the norm. Yeah. For all your like if we're introducing a new black character, we're introducing a new brown character, we're introducing go ahead, put the cape on for those characters as well. You need to, we if you're gonna do it for one, do it for the other, because I think that's incredibly unfair. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't hate Punchline or anything.
That was my example.
But just it's why didn't we get this for for instance, there's a Nubia series out right now. Where was this pageantry for Nubia and the Amazons? Where is this pageantry? We didn't get the same kind of pageantry for Far Sector. With Joe Mullen as a even though technically Green Lantern, but still this whole new character. We don't really get that for a lot of these other ones. I don't know, breaks my heart.
And I guess, and I keep thinking about Geekster's question in terms of Stan Lee. I don't think
Geekster has more questions, by the way. There's 7.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Well, I was going to say, I think the question shouldn't really be about Stan Lee at all. If we're talking about Marvel, or even comics in general, I think the death of Dwayne McDuffie is a bigger hit than I think even I realized. I mean, he was well on his way to being editor of DC. Because when you think about it, has there been a black editor at Marvel or DC? No. No.
There has been a black editor.
Yeah,
either.
And he's the stuff he did on the TV screen with what he wrote is stuff that made people fall in love with DC.
And not just the black characters, all characters.
A lot of people forget about Ben 10. A lot of people forget his connection to Ben 10.
Yes.
The guy that could beat Goku,
I
apparently.
think I think maybe that's the bigger death that I think people don't really recognize. That
Definitely.
I guess because I working in a comic book store, I'm just reminded of him constantly in a lot of his work that's on our shelves, and I'm like, if he was still around, he'd probably be an editor. He'd be running Marvel or DC. Like I truly believe that.
DC would definitely be doing a lot better.
Because
sure.
like I'll save my thoughts about who's running DC or running Marvel, because like there's a whole thing about not being honest with who you are and still getting that job, and I think that speaks to a bigger issue in comics, in the comic book industry in general. So I don't think I think Geekster's question is less about what Stan Lee meant to Marvel. I think it's more about what comic book industry means to like just comic books and like everything that trickles down. I think there's wrong name, but right idea.
Well, on the subject of Marvel and DC, well, Ash, and then we'll move on to the next question.
No, I was going to say, I think Stan had a better balance with storytelling and politics. I forget.
Yeah,
I forget the.
No, I'm sorry. I agree with that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I think he had a better balance, and he understood not to, floor the gas with the politics, because there are things that needs to be addressed, or you need to make people aware of. Almost like in the 90s, I'm just thinking about Power Rangers, just an arbitrary example. At the end of a Power Rangers episode, there's a freeze frame of everybody high-fiving after delivering a message.
After destroying half the town, too.
Right.
All the bank buildings are in rubble, and they're like, yeah.
Like a giant Goldar. What's his name? Goldar?
Yeah, Goldar.
Pieces of him laying around town, and they high-five.
Power Rangers, for me, is first grade. But, but yeah, so with that being said, I to be fair, I haven't read a lot of current day comics just because I don't have time. But judging from what I hear at conventions and conversations online, there's a lot of audiences who remember entertainment before 2015 or 2016, when the storytelling was a little bit more even. And I really, as you guys go on, I'm going to try to find this Stan Lee quote, because that's going to really like solidify my point. But he did address it directly. Like, there's a fine line in how you tell the story. Nowadays, it's like we're having the pill shoved down our throat, the medicine, just shoved into our mouths. It's like, I'm open to receive it. Just give me, a chance to swallow. Pause.
Yeah.
So let me find this quote real quick. I'm on my phone.
For sure. Well, we will come back to it when you find it. Another question from our good friend, rapper extraordinaire, Geekster, the super nerd. Why is it that Marvel and DC fans beef with each other, but creators of Marvel and DC never did? Because they work for both. Across. Yeah.
Listen,
when you're selling guns to both gangs, you
oh my god,
really
DC and Marvel pass around so many freaking creators, like,
for sure.
Dude.
Oh my gosh.
That rivalry, now that rivalry was kind of a thing like long time ago. But and when I say I'm talking about, like, I think it was probably at its most petty during the time of case in point, the reason why a She-Hulk and a Spider-Woman exist was not because someone was like, hey, I want to tell this awesome story about this particular type of character, but it was largely because of copyright law, because they knew that if they didn't trademark these things and get the stuff out here, DC could make their own She-Hulk or Spider-Woman if they didn't do it first. It's the same thing with was it
Marvel
Power
Boy.
Man
Yeah.
and Power Girl, Wonder Man and Wonder Woman. There was a whole debacle. If you go online, you can,
Shazam.
you can look up the receipts.
Oh yeah, Shazam.
Captain Marvel. There's
Captain Marvel's actually one of the that was actually one of the most petty ones.
Pettiest one. That was
sure.
like
the pettiest.
we didn't even get to the pettiest one. Was the Captain Marvel one like that in itself?
Oh yeah.
Like that, but like as the money started flowing in different
Mm-hmm.
ways, and like money became turned into movie money, and then like writers and creators started doing their own independent things. That beef
You
went
got
away.
Image,
like,
you got IDW,
yeah, DC
you
and Marvel was
got
like, oh,
Boom.
you writing that? Can you come do that over here?
Yeah,
Come on.
there's a reason why a lot of creatives that you see, like if you see him in Image, you see him in Boom, you see him in Aftershock, Dark Horse, whatever. And then because a lot of times what they'll do is Marvel and DC be like, hey, can you there was a joke with Chip Zdarsky about how he's going to be writing a Batman comic for DC, and one of the running jokes was, so basically DC just brought him in to write Daredevil, but it's Batman.
Wow.
Which is so
Batman
bad.
goes blind for a
Zdarsky
few
is a
weeks.
fantastic writer, and they aren't good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and so like his Daredevil is not going to be anything like his Batman.
No. we should just strangle the person who said that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just strangle that. Strangle him.
Question about Marvel fans and DC fans. They create beef that's not even there. Like it's the same thing about people who like Xbox and PlayStation. Like you're playing a video game. Why are you mad?
It's like, look, you don't get a check.
Yeah.
No.
This is my thing. Unless you get a check based on the sales numbers for either company, it doesn't matter because you're just you're just a person who because companies are faceless. They're not your friend.
Yeah.
Corporations aren't your friend. They don't. If you love them, they think that's cute. But they don't stand. They're like, oh,
dollar sign.
Let's not get out of here, kid.
Hand over that wallet. Hand over that stimulus money. That
love
money
me?
you got.
Give me some money. Oh, that's sweet. All right, okay, get out. Don't touch me.
No, Marvel fans' idea. I'll go. No, bring that over here. It's like,
Well, what was it?
Is.
One of the running jokes was with Jonathan Hickman when he came to write X-Men. They're like, oh, so basically he's just writing East to West, but it's a Marvel now. It's like because it's not the exact same thing, but some of the same ideas get kind of reused here and there. When Donny Cates started writing Thor, people were like, oh, so he's writing God. So basically he's writing God Country, but he's writing it over at Marvel now. Cool. It's like, but they want some of those things. They're like, hey, can you do what you did? It's the same thing to do with actors. Hey.
Yeah.
Can you do that one thing that you did in that one movie? Can you do
Remember what you did in The Shining? Can you do that as the Joker?
Again here?
Yeah.
I mean, Alan Moore and Grant Morrison have literally have made a career of writing for both.
Honestly, it's more lucrative for you, I would imagine, if you did.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I could be speaking out of line here, but I feel like if
Alan
you diversify your funds,
still gets Alan Moore still gets a cut of that Watchmen money whenever I sell a book off the shelf. So he, you know what I'm saying? Like Grant Morrison still gets paid for Animal Man and X-Men.
Yeah,
and they both be on my shelf.
Vita Yala,
Vita Yala's writing 2 X-Men books. I think one, and she's writing something for DC
and
too.
writing for Milestone and DC. So,
yeah,
I mean,
so listen,
they are killing it.
Yes. By the way, all of them
get your money.
It's just like I even when customers come in the store and try to pit that beef stuff, it's like, no, we're not doing that. Like, you're here to enjoy the stories. Like, why are you can like both? I don't mind arguments of which character do you like more between Marvel and DC. That's one thing, but to create these artificial arguments,
just like you can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time, you can
for sure
Marvel and DC at the same time.
You can like things. It's okay.
Yeah.
So folks, our good friend Snax of the Trap Nerd podcast on the Black Effect Network has to run because they gotta go record. Snax, tell people where they can find your content. Don't forget to throw out for the Dallas area where people can see you do stand up.
Sorry to dip so early. I was getting so good. You guys, I'm telling you, being around all of you with this knowledge of comic books and everything. I'm like, I need to go. I need to hit the comic book store because it like you guys are amazing. I'm just want to say that.
Thank you, Snax. You're awesome too, bud.
Pick this up.
Yeah, I definitely am. It was nice to meet you, Ashley. Yeah, would love to have you on my podcast also. But yeah, check me out. Check our podcast out with me, Baku, Dre, and Tony. We are on the Black Effect Podcast Network and iHeartRadio. We stream everywhere you get your podcast. The Trap Nerds Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. And I do stand-up comedy. I host a weekly open mic every Sunday at Dallas Comedy Club in the city of Dallas. So if you're in the DFW area, come check it out. It's a pretty dope scene. And I also do improv shows every Wednesday at the same place. So, come check me out. Check us out. Follow me on Instagram, EXmanPG, XmanPG. That's my screen name on Instagram and Twitter. I said that really quickly, but yeah.
They can read it better than I would.
It's good.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Peace, Snax, and love to the
Bye.
folks, buddy.
Thank you guys. You guys are amazing.
Tell everybody I said what's up.
Definitely.
All right. So on the subject of Marvel and DC, I got a question ready. So long ago, and I think they may have rebooted it. There was a DC and Marvel merger.
Amalgam Comics. Huh?
Literally,
Yep.
I used to call it amalgam because I didn't know how to pronounce the word amalgam. I hope I'm not the only one that called it amalgam.
Animal Cracker? No, I want to read an Animal Crack comic.
Hey, y'all see them amalgam comics? And they're like, with Wolverine, Batman, Batmarine. Long ago, there was something called Amalgam Comics. I would like to know if you all had, number one, any interest, two, a favorite character. Mine was definitely Dark Claw. I had the Dark Claw comic book.
Mike,
I'm sure my brother has lost it.
I'm holding the Dark Claw right now.
Oh,
I remember his villain was named Hyena, and it was Sabretooth and the Joker.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that was the smoothest transition in Amalgam, and then the rest of them were pretty wacky.
They got weird.
Very weird. Like, even looking at my Dark Claw, it's like, yeah, it's still weird.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's still weird.
It's a weird idea. Batman with claws and a healing factor. Really.
Also, I don't know if you all had this one, but Lobo the Duck.
Oh yeah, Lord. That was a thing.
I saw a picture.
Yeah,
I never saw the comic because.
Well, you can see the comic, Mike. I'll bring it to you.
I don't have it, but the one that actually held my attention, and it's just because Storm Stan over here, was Amazon. Because I think it was like one of the only ones where it actually wasn't a character being merged with another character.
It wasn't
like
Wonder
it was
Woman
just Storm. Like it wasn't like it wasn't like Storm and Wonder Woman merged became one person. Diana was still around, but Hippolyta found Storm as like an orphan, and just it was almost kind of like it almost kind of did like that meme where the guy's walking with the one girl, but he's looking at her. It was like that. It was like Hippolyta was walking with Diana, but she was looking back like, "Ooh, Storm." And that was basically like, so Storm was the Wonder Woman. Diana was just some other woman that was just running around. She was just out here. She wasn't nobody. She was just she was walking around with the blue jean jacket and some weird black getup. It was the 90s. It was a strange time. But Storm was like, no, she's like, it's me. And and not only that, I got to see Storm beat the brakes off Wonder Woman. So I was pleased.
There it is.
I was pleased.
Yeah.
So that's all I like. Said Storm Stan. Just throw it out there.
Ashley, do you remember this? Also, Ashley has to go soon. Do you remember the Amalgam comics? I remember you said you were in first grade when Power Rangers came out, and I was in middle school. So I don't know what the time period was between.
The Wonder Woman in the blue jeans jacket. That sounds familiar.
It was very 90s. It was like this was 96.
Yeah. It was,
like 90. Yeah, this was like 96, 90, maybe 90.
Normcore was heavy, so like lots of jean jackets.
Yeah, denim was everywhere.
Denim everywhere.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. I was more so like a manga reader growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I'm not even mad at you.
I didn't even like. I saw Amalgam when I was a kid, but it kind of went over my head. So like until I became an adult, and like my boss just kind of like, "Do you want these?" And I looked at them, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this was a thing." And then I looked back and like I learned about them, but it was like, this is something that I didn't need, nor do I want ever.
I was definitely young enough to think like, wow.
Yeah, there's definitely a wow factor there, but like in terms
and then
of
I
like,
read them and was not happy about it.
I'm good.
Actually, I'll read off a list of characters just so you can.
Oh wait! I just looked up what Blerd Without Fear just mentioned, and no, I did not know about this version.
It's weird.
Yeah, it was literally just Storm in a Wonder Woman costume. That's all.
This is different.
Yeah. There was a Superman, Captain America.
Like, this is different.
Bruce Wayne, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Wait, was it Magneto and the Metal Men?
That was great.
Magnetic Men.
Or the Magnetic Men, that's what it was. Magnetic Men.
Dark Claw Adventures, Lobo the Duck.
Was there a Doom Patrol one?
Let me see if I can.
Or something Patrol. I can't remember if they.
Magnetic Men, Speed Demon, Spider Boy, X Patrol.
X Patrol, yeah, because Doom Patrol. That was actually, I was too young and unknowledgeable and just lacking knowledge to get why that was even important. Because like Doom Patrol and X-Men came out like literally like at the same time, so it was always debatable who stole whose homework. Because I think they came out within like a month or two of each other. So like clearly one was being, they were probably, someone's like, oh, hey, let me see what you're doing over there. All right, cool. I'm gonna write this down. I'm just gonna call mine X-Men. Because it's literally this, it was the same setup, but I thought it was funny that they actually put Doom Patrol and X-Men in the amalgam together. Like that was Marvel and DC like acknowledging the similarities.
Yeah. We did this.
Wow.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, I'm just looking at these pictures.
It's crazy. It's not good.
Like
that's
not
real strange.
Listen, that's why I keep these amalgams next to the like in my desk because it's like they're just very interesting to look at. Like it's just like a fever dream.
People need to know like this. The Iron Lantern was the thing.
Yeah,
that was the
Iron Lantern.
Yeah, and like people should go out of the way to look at the Iron Lantern's like costume. It's up there.
Not the best designs. Batclaw's costume, real weird. Wolverine's costume was strange enough. Putting bat wings on his face, a little strange.
Also, if you want to never be able to unsee this ever again, look at Wolverine's face. Like go back and look at like old school, like the yellow and black mask Wolverine. Look at it real closely. It's two Batmen.
Batmen.
Batman,
just like
you'll never unsee it. Just like
every day on his face, he's fighting ninjas. Batman are making up.
They're just making out.
Hey, he goes where he wants to go.
That's right.
I ain't mad at him. It's 2021.
Hey. We're not going to get into his history with Squirrel Girl. What were you going to say?
No, I had seen a comment pop up. It was a question that asked something about why did the fandoms of Marvel and DC get into it, but not the creators? What do you guys think about that?
The creators.
Tribalism.
Yeah, it's just plain tribalism.
Yeah.
It's straight up
looking
tribalism.
for beef. We're on technically PocketCon is for kids, so I'll clean it up and say my stick is bigger than yours. Like it's a weird back and forth. It's completely unnecessary, and the people who are making money off of it aren't into it. It's the same reason, in politics, you got this guy on this side, this guy on this side. Publicly, their followers will argue with each other, but then they're taking pictures with their arms around each other because they're like,
right. These guys, they all know each other.
That's the thing. All the creators know each other. Like they're friends with each other. Like I mean,
Yeah.
Like, I guess because I I mean, work with Ashley Woods. I work with eViewing. I've talked with other creators. Like, they have conversations with each other about things they're doing. Like,
For sure.
At some point, I wish fans understood.
You mean they know people?
Yeah, yeah. You know,
they have friends.
Like,
they don't throw up gang signs. They don't walk into Marvel doing this.
You know what you just did? Look, you know what you just did? You just messed up some poor person's worldview because now they're sitting. It's like you just told them wrestling wasn't real. They're like, what?
Or they saw their teacher at the grocery store and they're like, "You live outside of room 302?
You eat food?"
But it's so weird because like these same people who like the fans who have beef, they go to these cons and they see these writers who write for different. They all sit on different panels for different like DCs and Marvels and IDWs.
Yeah. And then some of the writers and artists work for both.
Yeah,
all the time.
Many. Yeah. It's,
heck, I remember listening to like a story that Donnie Cates was talking about how he would go hang out at the DC office.
Yeah.
And he writes for Marvel. I mean, he doesn't. I mean, he technically exclusively writes for Marvel, but he also writes for like Aftershock and Image too. So it's kind of like, are you really exclusive if you're still writing for 3 or 4 whole? And he has his own imprint now that he's doing his own thing. So people just need to realize that you can actually coexist in the same space as someone who works at the building across the street from you.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the way I would relate to it is because I grew up as a huge gamer. And so I started off with Nintendo, but for like a big chunk of my life, Sony was everything until I eventually got a 360 like in 2008. But, you know, for a while, we had the console wars. So a lot of people was like, oh Sony is, you know.
Yeah, I hated that
Sony
too.
had the biggest category of games.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It absolutely is the same thing.
I will say this, though. Super Nintendo was better than Sega Genesis.
I mean,
that wasn't like a beef thing.
It sounded like
because Sega games use the same sound. That was in all of their games.
Right.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, it's also interesting to me just because I was that dirty heathen who had both of them.
My stepbrother had every single game system. TurboGrafx 16, all of them.
I will say there's one place that Sega had Super Nintendo's lunch, and that was with Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
Because that first Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo where you had the blood was gray because it was supposed to be sweat.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I was over here on Sega.
Great on Sega. Like
I was playing Sega with the
6 buttons. You had to buy
I actually had my mother go buy me the 6-button controller so I could stun on all my friends and be like, "Oh man, look at this! Look, see what? Watch this right here. Let me walk up to you real quick. Stand right there." And then, man, look at all that red stuff on the floor. Look at all that Kool-Aid on the floor, man. What y'all like?
I will say, Super Nintendo had better music than the Sega one did.
Yes.
But you can't take the violence out of Mortal Kombat. That's the point. Especially
then
back then, there wasn't a story.
Because then it was a civil dispute.
Covered them up.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Ashley?
There was a time you wouldn't think that they would cover up the women. And then we have Mortal Kombat 11.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow, I forgot. Wow,
forgot about that, but they did that.
It was a lot. It's a lot.
Well, I mean, you know, it just goes to show where our and no pun intended, where our heads are at any one point in time. Like
that goes back to why the idea of TV for men was such a weird idea.
Like, it seemed like such a normal thing at the time. But have you gone back and watched like one of the promos they would do?
Yes.
For like you go back and watch them, it's just like this is gross.
It's toxic masculinity in 30 seconds. Like
no, it is.
The man show. Disgusting. Where's Adam Carolla now? I can chug beer in 2 seconds. That's not good for you. You gonna die.
This is I pick my belly button, eat Cheetos, and drink Mountain Dew all day channel.
And complain about why women don't like me.
Yeah. Like I mean, you know what? And now I think about it. back when I was like in my because this is clearly around the time I was in my late teens, early 20s. I now get why I was an unlikable, like why women probably found me undesirable back in that time, because I used to watch a lot of Spike TV and didn't think there was anything wrong with it. And now, fast forward where I'm like, damn near 40, and I'm just like, oh God, that was gross. That was gross. That was a gross time in my life. I wish that you could Harry Potter, they could take their memories and and put them somewhere else. That's what I wish I could do with that. I wish I could forget. I wish I could forget that Spike TV was a thing.
Well, no, it's cool. At least you grew out of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm gonna applaud your growth. Hold on, let me hit the applause button.
Buddy.
There we go.
Yeah.
Growth.
I'll take that. I'll take. Hey, look, we actually, you know what? I would be real. Oh man, you know what? I actually know people that people that are my age that are still in that Spike TV mindset. It makes me very sad. Yeah, makes me very sad.
I try to tell them. Well, you gotta love yourself. At the end of the day, if you love yourself, you can't really dislike anybody. It's not for no reason, No, God, no. Well, with that said, folks, a 55-minute event has turned into an hour and 11 minutes and 9 seconds.
So you saying this is the Blerd Cave?
Or BlurdDotRadio. You know how many people don't answer my emails after being on the show? Like, they'll still comment on social media, but I'm like, hey, you want to be on the show? I got stuff to do. Because we kept them for like 3 hours longer than they expected to be kept. Also, go check out Blerd.Radio. We're a thing. We'll be on tomorrow. I believe I asked Geekster the Super Nerd to be our guest. Not what time are we on, Kenny?
7:30.
7:30. Is it 7:30?
7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern.
I'll write the show.
Yeah, that sounds correct.
Come on, guys.
Yeah. I can't say anything.
After you write something for so long.
I'm still the noob.
I'm still, right now, I'm in answer party mode. I'll get in.
Yeah, that's fair. 7:30. Standard time. Central.
Ernie, you wanna plug your stuff?
Oh man. That's actually my weekness. I don't know how to, but I'll try. I can help. I'm a
big fan of Ernie's. The Blerd Cave is fantastic.
It's my thing. But yeah, you can check me out on youtube.com/blur-without-fear. I talk about comic books. It's what I do. It's a thing. I also I live stream on Saturdays, and I talk about more comic book stuff there. Usually more comic book movies and TV shows, but still comic book stuff, related things. And,
shout out
to
Carter Presents. I didn't call him Carter Presents at the beginning. I got to do it at least once.
Honestly, I like to do it just to mess with him every now and then. I actually told him there is a Mirrorverse version of him that's actually called Carter Presents.
And he loves Christmas, that mirror version.
and there is a Mirrorverse version of myself that actually does have fear. So I mean, hey, we all have our faults.
It's funny because I just pictured it in Rick and Morty animation. It's a guy hiding behind the desk.
I don't know, Rick. That's basically, that would be me. It's basically Blur Without Fear, but it's Morty. It's just Morty.
Yeah.
Just a sad individual.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me. And I'm not sad on my channel.
It's true. It's true. He is not in the least. Ernie is one of those people that can do a show by himself and still talk to everybody. I'm not that guy. I look up to that ability. If it was just me talking right now, I'd talk for 5 minutes and then just stop.
Well, I see a revisit of that the birthday photo.
Oh,
yeah. After 5 minutes,
turn away. It would just be my back. But thank you, Ernie. Also, again, high praise for Ernie Blerd Without Fear. I learned a lot of comic book stuff from him. I'm entertained every Saturday at noon. Well, every one where I can make it. I missed a while because I had to, work. That's stupid.
I mean, you got to make money.
Yeah, I guess you know.
That's
Kenny, where can people find you?
Find me on BlurdDotRadio every Sunday. I'm going to talk a lot about Hawkeye because 3 episodes came on, so expect that from me tomorrow. Also, you can find me on Instagram, Sassy Black Nerd, or my fashion page, where I actually I'm going to try to start talking more comics on there because my Sassy Black Nerd page is a little bit more adult, whereas SBN is like for everybody. So try to do more of my comic book stuff there because I usually post my picks of the week from First Aid there. Yeah, so follow me there. And Nerfic Strangers, we are on hiatus for a little bit, but we have a bunch of episodes that we are releasing that we recorded like a while ago that are like still popping up in nerficstrangers.com, Nerfic Strangers on Twitter, Instagram, and wherever you find your podcasts. And come by and say hi to me at First Aid Comics. I can give you recommendations, or you can talk comics with me because I also, too, like Ernie, will talk about comics forever if I give you the chance.
And our prestigious guest here, I can read through her accolades again. Ernie and Kenny, not that you're not prestigious.
Oh no! Listen,
I mean, I'm not. But I'm just gonna hold this.
Listen, she got spaces in the shop, okay? Like, she's respected.
That's true.
I'm just saying.
Ashley, where can people find that hard copy of Niobe? That shiny hard copy.
It's very beautiful.
So that the copy that Ernie was holding, they can go to strangercomics.com and buy it directly from the publisher. And also you can find my work on my website, ashleywoods.com, and my Instagram, which is Ninja Trip.
Mm-hmm.
And also I'll be at C2E2 next Saturday on December 10th. I'm hosting a panel. And so I'll be sharing some new work there and upcoming projects and more.
You can always find more Ashley Wood stuff on the shelves of First Aid Comics because we keep her stuff in stock.
In Hyde Park.
Hyde Park, baby.
There it is. Thank you all for joining us this year on our second Answer Party event during PocketCon 2021. Until next time, love, peace, hair grease. Go read a book. Read lots of books. And wear a mask.
Wear a mask. And read comic books. Don't fight about it.
Don't fight about it. It's not good. Unless you bet on fight. I'm always bet on the fight. Hey, you talking about fighting today.
Kool-Aid all over.